everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining my channel today. I am actually preempting this message with my weekly post, which is on Thursday, and that's already prepared for you. And I'm excited to upload that on Thursday. But today, I am wanting to just give some feedback on the whopping wade in the water that Whoopi Goldberg is going through right now for comments that she made on yesterday's episode of The View. The topic was about a book in a school that addressed the Holocaust, and Whoopi was pretty adamant that the Holocaust is not about racism. And I happened to be watching at that time. I try and watch The View regularly, and at that time I was saying, "Woo!" I was like this. I was like, don't stop. Go to commercial, stop. Because I felt that it was going to turn out some kind of way, but just not this way that it's turned out, or it seems to be turning out. Today is the next day after that day, which was yesterday. So by now you're familiar with it. And again, I am not addressing what Holocaust is, what racism is, what the humanitarian issue is, what is a humanitarian issue versus what is racism, and even ethnicity. Ethnicity, I never say that word right. Sorry. I'm not wanting to address any of that through this, my platform, which serves a purpose of compassionate communication and the ability to own your part and apologize for your part and being able to reconcile relationships. So that's the part I'm talking about. I believe that, and it was on CBS Good Morning, I guess Gail King made a very good point where she said it wasn't so much that Whoopi was saying that the Holocaust is not about racism, but that it is also about the evil in man's heart, which makes them do the things that are racist. It's about the issues in man's heart that make them do things about human trafficking, that make them do things about raping women. It's the heart. And so Whoopi's inability to try, not inability, but inability to braid those two together is what's causing all this friction, because she was adamant that the Holocaust is not about racism. It's about man's heart, but it is, the root of it is racism, just like slavery is and other genocides. And so I'm not, again, wanting to address that. I'm wanting to address the fact that she has, and she immediately sent out a Twitter post about how very sorry she was. She apologized to the entire Jewish community and all of the viewers of The View, viewers of The View, as well as public press releases. She went on Steven Cobert's show last night, and they had a discussion of it. And actually, that didn't really help her any, because she was still not tying the two together. I think sometimes when we have that type of heat, we need to take a pause. Just take a pause. Don't cancel that for tonight. But anyway, I'm digressing. My purpose for even addressing this. My purpose for addressing this is, when is apology ever accepted? When is it, what makes it good enough? She did all of that. Today they had a guest on who, at the top of the show, before they went in any topic, she apologized again. And he is, I believe I should have written his name. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But this expert on the Holocaust came on and explained to the viewers and Whoopi about the snippet of a history about Holocaust to help clear it up. And even with that, she apologized again. And even with all of that, she was suspended from work for 2 weeks. That's just too harsh, in my opinion. And I'm a personnel director. In my opinion, that's too harsh. When is an apology enough? The purpose of the view is to give your point of view, even though it was misstated or even misplaced. So let's talk about misplaced communication. Just 2 weeks ago, Mitch McConnell made a comment that statistics show that African Americans vote as much as Americans. We are American. But was he suspended for the misplaced concerning comment he made? The treatment, the results. If we can recall, I believe it was a year, maybe a year and a half ago, Nick Cannon made a comment that was mistaken. Mistaken is a mistake. Also about the Jewish community. And, an avalanche. This is an opportunity, a teaching moment, an opportunity to teach and not so much point at the person who made the misnomer, but to teach all of us more about the history we ought to know at the depth of our heart to begin with. Not just the Holocaust, not just slavery, not just genocide, not just AIDS, not just issues that are worldwide on the scale of understanding what happened to that group of people. Because when we earmark that group of people, by default, it's prejudice. By default, it could be racism. By default, it's the evil of the person's heart, which is what Whoopi was talking about. So, having said that, again, please don't write me anything negative. I'm hoping to tie this into what my own platform is about. When is an apology ever good enough, ever accepted? Because when a person gives you the remorse of their soul and it's still not enough, is it their heart that's so dark or yours for not forgiving? So it's really becoming an issue of forgiveness and lack thereof. So in some of my past uploads, you will hear me talk about the 4 parts of an apology, which us kids learned from my dad growing up. A good apology, a heartfelt apology, I'm truly sorry, has 4 parts. It's acknowledgement, the apology, the regret I won't do it again, and will you forgive me? So for example, I always give the one that's really stuck with me when I was going, my sister used my red sweater without my permission and she did something to her. I was very upset. So she said, I am sorry for wearing your sweater without your permission. It won't happen again. Will you please forgive me? Those are the 4 parts. Acknowledging what you did. I'm sorry for what I did. Will you forgive me? And it won't happen again. Whoopi did all of that. She did all of that. So for her not to be forgiven or at least considered for forgiveness, why whoever is so offended and understood, simmer down your soul a little bit. But a suspension for 2 weeks is extra, in my opinion. It's extra. It's extra. And this is why people are hesitant to go and apologize to someone whom they've wronged. Because in their minds, they think, why should I? They will never forgive me. What I did was so bad. So I just have to move on. But see, when you move on, the reconciliation piece never gets to happen. And that's the part. Without those 4 parts of the apology, the reconciliation piece can never occur. Really. Our now President Joe Biden was on The View, I believe it was the year that he was running for president. He was not quite in the race. I think he was going to announce. And the issue came up about Anita Hill and the wrong Congress did her at the time when she was giving her testimonies about Clarence Thomas, way back then in the 90s. And Joe Biden said, this is 2019 and we're still talking about it. When is an apology ever good enough? 20, 30 years later, and you're still talking about it. So it's not the apology, it is the forgiveness and the lack and the inability and the refusal and the rebuttal and the bullyism and the restraint to forgive is the same evil heart, comes from the pump of the same evil heart in which I believe Whoopi was referring to. So see, we should all be wading in the water with Whoopi right now. Because grudge holding, refusal to hear or receive another person after they've deeply, remorsefully. No one's saying that you're gonna be best friends or whatever again, but the bridging and the reconciliation. The soul is so sick. I got that term too from our now President Joe Biden when he was running his campaign. And he said, the soul of America is sick. The soul of America needs to be restored. The soul of America is broken. And that resonated with me. Because I insist on seeing the good in people. I just can't help it. There is good in people. But here it is, over a year he's been in office, and I don't think it's the soul of America is sick. I think the soul of the world is. And that's frightening. Reconciliation starts with an apology. From one end, and a forgiveness and acceptance of the apology from the other end, to hold on to it is to make that person further indebted to you. That's control. Stop it. Don't. It's not like the Holocaust happened last night and no one's trying to forget it. It's not like racism happened yesterday. It's still occurring. Human trafficking, it's still, we have a ton. Google it yourself. If you want to ask me No one is, but it's my video. I consider the homeless situation a humanitarian issue. It should have been fixed years ago. So there's a lot of humanitarian issues that are humanitarian issues that funnel from the heart of man, the evil pieces of man, the inability or the inability to accept every human as a worthy human, less your judgment. For whatever will be, for whatever will be. This is not about Whoopi. This is not about, the statement was wrong, that it was misguided, okay? It was misguided. And again, when I saw it, I was like, because to be honest, if she got suspended, her producer should have gotten suspended too. Your producer is assigned to you on that show. That person is there to stop. Oh, that's not that fact is not completely right. They should have stopped. So her assigned producer should have gotten suspended. The executive producer of the show should have gotten, he could have went to commercial. There's a lot of things. So I'm not going to go into that. I'm sticking to the apology piece, not the working piece. Because to be quite frank, the working piece, me being in personnel, human resources, that every person connected to that had a piece. So we're going to suspend one. Let's look at everybody that's connected to that. Again, when is an apology enough anymore? When do we stop one more time to a person? I'm almost under the impression that whoever called for her suspension had an with her to begin with. So this is their time. It was not necessary. It was extra, in my opinion. How long was that piece that she did? 4 minutes? It's a view, it's her view. Misplaced, misguided. But this is what you correct. This would have been a great opportunity to address the issue of misunderstandings. How many times people think anyone of color, for example, are Black by default. My friend is Belizean. My best friend is Belizean. And she says, Sheri, what happens to my own heritage? I'm not Black. I know. I have two friends. One is Mexican and one is Puerto Rican. Everybody thinks we're both Mexican. You know, so we all need to learn some things about heritage, racism, ethnicity, history, and stop judging other people. Open your heart and forgive. Now, today is February 1st. It's the Chinese Lunar New Year. And let's begin it with peace. Let's begin it with forgiving. Let's begin it with anyone who apologizes to us, accept it. And anyone we need to apologize to, go do that. It is also February 1st, the beginning of Black History Month. Let us learn the history of a race that's not our own. And also learn a lot about Black history. This month, if anything, let's do that. Shower each other with peace. Be forgiving, be understanding. Help correct a misled, even my own. I have a great big room of improvement. You're welcome to share with me your point of view. But as far as the view, these last 2 days. It is, I believe, a time for us to say this wading in the water for Whoopi is not about Whoopi, but it should really be about an open channel to flow communication about the various issues that really all are, at the end of the day, humanitarian issues, which stem from the evil in a man's heart, man meaning person, in a person's heart. And that is what our president was talking about when he said the soul of America is in crisis. I am not talking about her Holocaust statement. I am talking about us as a people. I'm looking for the time when we can be so considerate that when I say I'm sorry, you heard me twice the first time. And I can say to you, I accept your apology and thank you. Thank you. I needed to hear that. And now we can heal together. Yes, I love you. Namaste.